This is the Conservative Czar, April 2nd, 2026. Donald Trump gave a speech yesterday. The, it was a terrible speech. You go before the country and you're going to lay out whatever you want to lay out. You've got to have a real message. You can't call the country out and say basically nothing. Everything he has said before. The only difference is he probably he's do an interview on Fox or Real America's Voice or something like that, and it gets, I'm just making these numbers up, 5 million, and he probably got 50 million people watching this speech because he set it up as if he was going to say something important, but he didn't, and all it was a rehash of what went on before. And another little thing on these kind of speeches, not a rally speech, but a speech before the country, Trump is rhetorically challenged. He doesn't come off that charismatic when he's giving a speech like that. It was a dull speech. It's way too long. It wasn't that long, but it was still too long. And it said almost nothing. The only thing we got out of it that I grasped was the hint again that he would leave the Strait of Hormuz to other people to fix. He hinted at it, but I don't believe it's in his plan. And again, he outlines a plan. It is a plan that has merit, but it's a rehash, and it was done poorly. When you call the nation out for a special speech, make it special, and maybe he can't. As I said, in this particular area, he's rhetorically challenged. He comes off as boring to me. Okay, and I'm a Trump supporter. No, it was just disappointing. I was expecting more. I think the country was expecting more, and this is what we end up with. And it's for this guy being such a communication person to miss like that is really surprising to me. I expected we were going to have more fireworks. I expected that they were going to put on the table the three things that are in front of him. One is the utilities. He could take out the utilities and send Iran back 20 years. He could deal with Cargill Island either by just blowing it up or by landing troops. These are things he could have hinted at, he could have talked about. Instead, he didn't, and it was boring, and I was very disappointed. I am reluctantly supporting this war. I still reluctantly support it. But Trump is faced with some hard choices. And somewhere along the line, the choice of just pulling out, which, by the way, I've said before, if he pulls out, okay, declares victory and pulls out, that means that I actually thought that it meant that there'd be a civil war. I don't even think that anymore. I think the non-regime people in Iran just don't have it. I think they tacitly kind of support the regime. The fact there's no popular uprising is also an indictment of the fact that Iran still controls the country. Their military is intact, or the militias in check, in check. They got it all, and they're still sending missiles. There was one report of a missile strike. We struck hard at a site, and then the sortie's over, and they shoot a missile from that exact site. So Trump's got some tough decisions, very tough decisions. That's why in all wars like this, there are unintended consequences that you didn't think of. or you thought of it and you didn't give much credence to it. So, bad speech, we're still in limbo. I still support the war reluctantly. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time.